I'm Christy. Today I want to wrap up this series on staying active and engaged. So as I look back over all we've covered in this series, I find myself so grateful. Grateful we live in a time when options are readily available. Thankful that opportunities and mainstream activities are possible. And grateful that if one option doesn't work out, we have others to try. So throughout the series, we've looked at a number of different areas. Social opportunities, athletic options, the beauty of rec centers, organizations to help us find opportunities, specific organizations in Vegas to give you an idea of what to look for in your area, and finally, work opportunities. Now, I've got links to each of those blog posts over in this blog post. You can find that at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in March of 2020. Now, I hope you've seen that there are opportunities for your loved one in nearly every aspect of life. And as I said before, in many situations, your options are merely limited by your imagination. So now the question becomes, what activities are you going to try? I say try because you might find that not everything you thought would be a good fit ends up being the positive thing that you imagined. Or maybe your loved one decides they're not interested in continuing to participate in that activity after a while or after a break. Once again, that's the beauty of it. If something is no longer effective, you can stop that activity and find something else to take its place. No harm, no foul. Besides, isn't that what we typical or normal people do? If we don't like something anymore, we stop that activity and find something new. I don't think it should be any different for our loved ones with special needs. For example, AJ played baseball for several seasons. I figured he'd continue to play because he seemed to enjoy it and he really likes the coach. But after 2 or 3 seasons, he refused to go the next season. No matter what we tried, we couldn't talk him into going this next season. So we allowed him to not return, but we told him he had to pick another sport to be involved in. He chose bowling. Okay, maybe not my first choice, but it works, and he continues to stay active. Now, figuring out the true reason for having your loved one involved in a particular activity is probably the most important aspect of the decision process. Is it to keep them mentally engaged? Do they need some physical activity? Do they have a specific interest in the activity? Does it fill their need for social input? Do they have sufficient time at home to decompress, especially if they're more introverted? Well, once you have the answers to this type of question, you know what path to follow whenever you need to look for a new activity, regardless of the reason. These questions help keep you focused on the important factors for your loved one. Now, I think the next most important aspect of this decision process is to make sure that they're enjoyable activities for our loved ones. There's nothing worse than having to fight someone to go to an activity every single time it happens. And while there is something to be said for not quitting, there's also something to be said for not torturing everybody every time the activity happens and nobody enjoys going. Personally, I'd be hesitant to let AJ quit a sport in the middle of a season. Our philosophy is that you made a commitment at the beginning of the season, therefore you need to fulfill it. Now, having special needs doesn't get you out of that. But that doesn't mean we have to sign you up for another season after that either. It's maybe time to look for a new activity. Now, again, that's our personal choice. And I'll be the first to admit that there may be special circumstances where we would allow him to quit in the middle of a season. But they would be fairly extreme or unusual. You'll have to decide what's right for your family. Now, I really hope that this series has given you a lot to think about and some direction in finding new opportunities for your loved one. I also hope that your creative juices are now flowing and you've got ideas to try. Who knows? Maybe you'll even find a new activity your whole family will enjoy participating in together. So my question for you as I wrap up is this. What activities do you have your loved one involved in? How do you decide which activities are right and or when to change things up? I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can leave me a comment below or you can leave me a comment over on the blog. Again, that's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in March of 2020. As always, I'd appreciate it if you'd share this with anybody you think would find it helpful. I'd love to help as many families as I can. Sign-up lists are available over on the website. Signing up lets you know about all newly released content and new products as soon as they're available. I'm thankful that we found activities for AJ to stay active so that I can continue to say, as always, that life is good and there is never a dull moment.